some reason, I cannot win in Baltimore. I win in every other city, but I come to Baltimore, Charm City Slam whoops my ass. But yes, I am from Pittsburgh. I do love it here in Baltimore, though I do try to come down here as often as I can to immerse myself in the poetry here. But I'll tell you a little bit about my city. So my city has a slogan. It says, Pittsburgh is stronger than hate. And I can't help but think that if it were true, we probably wouldn't need it. But it looks nice. Graffitied over bodies at the Tree of Life massacre, or sprinkled in between racist comments on its WPXI's Juneteenth post, or as a backdrop under the underpass where the unhoused build up tents and break down their pride. See, my city, it has a slogan. It says it's stronger than hate, and it knows this because it arm wrestles with it on the weekends over ice cold beers and excuse me, takes his family to church on Sundays. The church around the corner from me has a sign. It says, Jesus is the only thing stronger than hate. And I don't know if it's trying to mock the city or canonize it. You see, the city, it loves black men when they play on its sports teams. Mike Tomlin says he doesn't support the woke agenda, and he gets his contract extended 2 years. And I know, it's a slogan. I'm supposed to just hear it and buy it. I mean, it looks so great wrapped up in rainbows for pride. I almost forgot about how gay men keep ending up dead in the river. But my city has a slogan, and maybe I'm the problem, because I'm not stronger. Hate bullies me, jumps in my DMs, steals my lunch money, but my city, it still has a slogan. And I can't help but feel, if it were true, we probably wouldn't need it. Through there. It's crazy. So there has to be an actual, harmed person for them to actually show up. So as a result, I have this. If you give a mouse a cookie, he'll ask for milk. If you give a broken man a badge, a gun, a broken sense of power, he will ask for immunity. The freedom to kill at will. You see, last week, cops shot an unarmed man. Threatened to arrest an unhoused person for sleeping anywhere. Used excessive force on someone having a mental health crisis. The problem with this poem is, I could have wrote it 2 years ago. Next year, this morning, and all of that would still be true. The cops in my city have decided they will no longer come when we call. They say if we're going to protest the death, there's no reason to keep us alive. Officer voicemail has a different kind of ring to it. I guess it's a call of duty, especially when you got black ops in this modern warfare. We said defund, they heard defend and decided to do neither. You see, we didn't need a mouse to tell us how the cookie crumbles. Just give a broken man a badge. He will milk it until he takes his last breath. I'm a millennial. More specifically, I'm an 80s baby, but a 90s kid. Which means, if you want to start a fight, ask me, Brandy or Monica. Or Brittany or Christina. Because I will give you a 10-page front and back dissertation on why it's Mariah Carey. It is always Mariah Carey. You can ask me NSYNC or Backstreet, but we all know the answer is
Justin Timberlake.
Drew Hill. Come on now. I'm kidding. It's definitely Boyz II Men. If you think that Cisco has anything on Wanye, I digress. Millennials. Millennials. We were latchkey kids and no child left behind. We were home before the streetlights and it's 11 o'clock p.m. Do you know where your children are? I'm talking Blackberries and sidekicks, texts at 10 cents a piece, and free calls after 9 p.m. We were Saturday morning cartoons and plain Cheerios with so much sugar it didn't dissolve. We ain't no holla back girls, but we definitely don't want no scrubs. Millennials, we were told to aim high and then strap down with student debt. We watched the towers fall and housing prices climb, drafted into the war on drugs and terror, and somehow lost both. No veteran benefits, just casualties to the weapons of mass deception, working minimum wage jobs for maximum hours and then called entitled for wanting better. We were handed trauma like an inheritance, using our broken to shed generational curses, our family trees giving birth to hatchets. We will tear all this shit down. We say things like adulting as what we do instead of what we are, because what we are is a generation of children never given the chance to grow up, just age. Millennials, but it's okay. We're just doing the best we can, like every other generation in here. And the sad thing is, none of us will make it out alive. But us millennials, we look good trying. All right. Make me sound insane, and I'm not. My therapist asked if I have any thoughts of harming myself or others. I say no. But the truth is, I think about dying more often than I should. If you hand me an infant, I will obsess over what it would be like to drop it. I see small dogs and I want to kick them. I won't. But once I took a handful of pills because I was so tired of failing, and I failed. I woke up the next morning. Sometimes I'm afraid if I tell this story, someone will see it as a challenge, and then I get mad. I get mad, but the problem with my anger is I always end up crying. And if I'm being honest, I am a big crybaby. But I want people to think I'm tough. I have an identity crisis because I'm dark as 11:50 p.m. and sometimes people say I'm not black enough. Once, my friend said I could be the Drake of poetry, and ever since I've been trying not to be. What I mean is I'm really good at delaying success. I'm out here blocking blessings like Matumbo, and if we're talking basketball, I normally don't shoot my shot. And then I blame women for my being single. I tell myself they can't love me more than my mother did anyway. You know, there's so many ways to harm yourself, and loving someone is probably the hardest. But the thing is, my therapist wouldn't agree. So when she asks, I just say no.
That's it. You gotta let us know. Poem. You gotta poem us or something.
Well, this one is a little bit more emotional for Pride Month, so that's not your thing. I'm sorry. There are 4 rules when handling a lethal weapon, and I wonder as I lay here a decaying corpse if the man who shot me chose to use any of them. 1. Treat every firearm as if it is loaded. He picks up his iPhone 47, removes the safety, sits the weapon on his pinky, stabilizes himself for the cleanest shot he can take. 2. Never point a gun at anything you do not wish to shoot. He does not care about aim. His plan is to hit anything that glimmers. He loads his social media with hollow points. Hatred is the most deadly ammo you can buy, but still a cheap shot. 3. Do not place your finger on the trigger until you are ready to shoot. He places his thumb on the post button repeatedly, sprays his bullets across the horizon of my For You page, and bang! God will forgive a rapist, but will not forgive my gay. Runs through the middle of my chest. Out of the exit wound is this poem, gasping for air, clinging onto life. What do you do when your chest becomes an open cage, releasing cardinal sins into the sky? Bang. He shoots down pride. He says we have nothing to celebrate. If we want a party, he will give us a funeral. 4. Unload the weapon when not in use. He logs off. But I am still here, dying, burying myself in the shallow grave of a status, asking if everyone is okay, if anyone else got hit. And Facebook becomes a bloody aftermath. We mark ourselves safe in the most unsafe space we know. As I dress my wounds, I hear, trans is a mental disorder, whiz past me. There are only 2 genders, grazes my right shoulder, but Leviticus 18 says, pierces my femoral artery. Oh, I have died 100 times inside an act, only to be resurrected a poet, dying and regenerating. No wonder they call it a cell phone. The thumbnails on our home screen line up like tombstones, each one a place we go to die. When your First and Second Amendment rights start to tangle, you too will become twisted up in the noose we call homophobia, hanging from a bigot tree, a decaying corpse, wondering if the killer followed procedure. Home. Recently, I learned that teeth are the only part of our bodies that are unable to heal itself. And I hate that. Because my family is a set of teeth. We've been building dental records instead of family trees. It's funny. I think my mother was a wisdom tooth. She never quite fit in. The pain I felt when she took up space, I never realized she was only trying to grow until God plucked her from the gums of my family's smile, left only empty space, teeth slowly shifting, trying to make up for the gaps. My family bracing onto a memory to hold itself together. At night, I feel us grinding against each other, swallowing blood that tastes a lot like pride, biting our tongues as if we could drool apologies if we opened our mouths. Everything leaves a stain on our ivory relationship. I try to brush it off, but it seems if you ignore it, it only gets worse. Grief is a cavity we can't seem to get rid of. No cap. When I was smaller, I tied a rope around a doorknob, slammed it shut, and tried to remove myself. I'd been wondering if God was really the tooth fairy, making a home amongst all the lost teeth, calls it heaven. When your bloodline is a swollen gum line, you can't do much but watch it go down the drain. I haven't spoken to my sister in years. And I'm afraid if teeth don't heal, we will forever be two molars on opposite sides of a mouth, afraid to say I love you, wearing ourselves away. You see, this family, we ain't never been a perfect set of teeth. We've just been good at shining like veneers on the outside, while dull and rotting underneath. We've been making dental records instead of family trees. So there's something to identify us with after we're gone. But the problem is, we ain't been doing too much healing while we're still here.